So the Please Call Me service became a huge success, as we know. I mean, me and I will know better. We're from those days of Please Call Me, right? Please call, I'm outside. Yeah. Please call Puma is there. That's the word, dog. Initial disputes. This is in 2003 to 2008. Vodacom claimed he wasn't entitled to any payment since he wasn't the sole inventor of Please Call Me. How come these foreigners are accessing the healthcare system for free at the back of South African taxpayers? Okay, fine. This is a good idea. We would like everybody to have free healthcare, but who's paying? Because somebody has to pay. It's unheard of, dog. It is unheard of to be illegal and be accessing healthcare in another country. It's unheard of. There's this sentiment, especially from Gayton McKenzie, to remove colored people from blacks and establish them as a different entity. When I think of colored people, because of how close they are to me, they're just as good as Xhosa people, Swati people, other people within the context of black. The idea, I think that also the framework to say they are crazy, I also know what they are referring to. They are referring to the stereotype of violence. But anyway, dog, let's go to work, boy. Let's go to work without wasting any more time, bro. Because I told you, smooth kills, dog, when you waste too much time. Let's go to work. So, dog, I went on to check out the Vodacom thing, right? As we spoke about it before, right? We need to talk about this case, you know. So, let's just go back to the origins of this thing. So, the origins. In 2000, Makate, right, a trainee manager at Vodacom, conceived the idea of Please Call Me, a free service allowing prepaid mobile phone users to send a notification to another user requesting a call back, right? So he pitched the idea to his manager, who is Alan, right? Alan Craig, and who allegedly promised to take care of him, right, if the idea was successful. So basically, Alan had promised Makate to uzompegelela basically, if this thing works. You know the type of vibe, right? Now, when I heard that, Mina Padi, when I heard that, then my mind went to paperwork, So in my mind, that's the first thing I thought of. No paperwork agreement for the idea, but agreeing to have gotten the idea from him. So the idea that Makate too didn't have papers, like the proposal papers or some contractual thing. Yeah, well, it's like, yo, man, I don't know. Around that, I had a problem with that in the beginning. Now, success. So the Please Call Me service became a huge success, as we know. I mean, me and I will know better. We're from those days of Please Call Me, right? Please call, I'm outside. Yeah. Please call Puma. We're from those days, bro. Please call Puma is there. That's the word, dog. Please call outside. Aye, dog. We used to send those ones. So it was successful and generating significant revenue for Vodacom, right? Initial disputes. This is in 2003 to 2008. When Makate asked for compensation, Vodacom claimed he wasn't entitled to any payment since he wasn't the sole inventor of Please Call Me, right? This is between 2003 to 2008. Then he went to the court, of course, North Gauteng High Court in 2008. Makate approached the North Gauteng High Court, which ruled in his favor, stating that Craig's promise constituted a binding contract. So the court ordered Vodacom to compensate Makate based on the reasonable compensation agreement between the two parties. But you know what it reminded me when I was reading this part around this. Okay, this is the thing. Craig, in this case, him promising to take care of him, that's, according to court, it actually was contractual and binding for him to say that.
Yeah, it's a verbal agreement.
It's a verbal agreement, right? Now, this took me just a bit off the topic. Many people don't understand this. Guys, when when you write a letter to your girlfriend's family to say, I'm going to come to Lobola, and then you do not come, do you know that you are married by then under customary law? It's too late for you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but the Lobola doesn't matter, dog. You are in. Writing a proposal letter and saying, next year I'm coming to Lobola, so and so. That's it. Did you know that?
So you have tied yourself.
You are in customary law. You are married. You saying you are coming on this date. That's it. Customary law. You are married. So Senya Shlugana, before getting to the date of you paying Lobola, it's too late already. The letter is binding. You are married already.
So it's up to the brains or the smarts of the people to actually keep that letter.
Yeah. Always people actually pay Lobola and then break up with people and think, we are not married. No. Customary law, it's late. Lobola is just added evidence to say you got married to this person.
Yeah, dog. That's, yeah. I mean, even I didn't know that. I'm not going to lie about that. I didn't know Uti.
Yeah, I mean
you can only know these things if, you are academically inclined and then you are aware of it.
Yeah, true. But I mean, I have to know. And we have too much money to lose like that, my guy. Hey. Our numbers are looking big, dog. We only start counting money at 100K, boy. We have to know. Anyway, so Umakate went to the North Gauteng High Court and he won. They said Craig's promise is binding, right? Cool. Vodacom, Supreme Court of Appeal. Vodacom is in 2014 goes to Supreme Court of Appeal. Vodacom appealed the High Court decisions, right? But the Supreme Court of Appeal upheld the High Court's ruling, confirming that Craig's promise as a binding contract. So the Supreme Court of Appeal ordered Vodacom to negotiate with Makate in good faith to determine fair compensation. This is my problem. To leave these people to negotiate by themselves. I think the courts needed to be straight about this is how much you should pay the person. Yeah, I mean, they have the data of how much the company made. If they're determining that you agreeing that you're going to take care of him is contractually binding, that's it. So why are they not saying this is the amount? Yeah, to say go and thingy. For me, I had a problem with that too. For the courts not being decisive, I had a big problem with that too. Also, remember Craig, by the way, is not agreeing that he said he's gonna look after him, but he's agreeing that the guy approached him with the idea.
How?
Which would be crazy then to. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Why not?
Yeah, so Craig, the manager, agrees that yes, the guy approached me with the idea, but I didn't say I was going to take care of him. But anyway, that's 2014 Supreme Court ruling for Makate, right? Now, Vodacom goes to Constitutional Court. Constitutional Court. Vodacom appealed the Supreme Court's appeals, right, decision to the Constitutional Court, right? Which ruled that the Supreme Court of Appeals order was binding and that Vodacom and Makate should negotiate in good faith to determine fair compensation. If negotiations failed, the High Court would determine the compensation. This is in 2016. So basically, Makate took Vodacom to High Courts, Gauteng High Courts in 2008. He won. They said Vodacom must pay him, right? And then Vodacom appealed in 2014 in the Supreme Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court of Appeal said the High Court's decision in Gauteng is binding, right? So Vodacom should pay him. And then Vodacom goes to Constitutional Court to appeal the appeal in 2016. You know?
Jeez.
And then the Constitutional Court sends them back and says to them, no, the Supreme Court of Appeals decision stands. You have to pay the guy. You have to compensate him, right? You need to negotiate with him. But in failure to negotiate, you guys should go back to High Court. High Court is where Makate had started in 2008. This shit is fucked up. So compensation disputes. Makate demanded around 9.7 billion. This is allegedly approximately 5% of Please Call Me revenue over 18 years. That's Vodacom has already made, right? So while Vodacom, right, offered 47 million, later increased to 80 million with interest. And then this is happening after the Constitutional Court decision in 2016, by the way. Then in 2020, they had to go back to High Court, as remember the Constitutional Court had said that, right? That if they fail to negotiate, they need to go back to High Court. So go back to High Court where Makate had started in 2008. So after failed negotiations, the High Court determined that Vodacom's liability and ordered the company to pay Makate a percentage of Please Call Me revenue over 18 years, right? Vodacom takes the decision to Supreme Court again in 2022. So Vodacom appealed the High Court's decision again, but the Supreme Court of Appeals upheld the ruling, ordering Vodacom to pay Makate a percentage of Please Call Me revenue. And then Vodacom appealed the appeal again and went to Constitutional Court in 2024, which is the recent thingy that happened, right? And we had the results. So in November 2021. So what happened was Vodacom appealed the Supreme Court of Appeals decision again, and the Constitutional Court had the case, right, on November 2024, 21 November 2024, and the courts upheld Vodacom's appeal, sending the case back to a new panel of the Supreme Court of Appeals for reconsideration. And this is my take, buddy, before you say whatever you want to say. This is my take.
Yeah.
This is my take. This is exactly that what happens. This is a good example of what happens when you're an ordinary person facing big corporation. That's what happens to you. That's when you are when an ordinary human being, just a normal facing a big corporation, that's what happens to you. That's what happens. Vodacom doesn't mind to drag the case as long as it takes, because that's cheaper than to pay this guy 9.7 billion. That's it. That's cheaper. They can drag the case to 50 years and have him die while he's waiting for compensation. It doesn't matter to them. It's cheaper, because that's not going to be what 9.5 billion. It's not going to be that much. So as you can imagine, how much would that be? Maybe they can rather pay lawyers to serve them for the next 50 years and pay those lawyers 500 million or 300 million if they have to, rather than to pay the 9.5 billion. They would rather do that. Yeah. And this is what they are doing. And the only way here, imagine a case taking 2 decades. The only way here for this brother, Vodacom users, starting with me, let's boycott them. Let's show them. That's the only way to deal with this. People, let's boycott Vodacom. Let's help this brother out. That's the only way. Let's drop their numbers down. Let's boycott them. Let's try it MTN. Go to MTN. Let's try out MTN. Let's go. Let's start now. Let's boycott Vodacom. That's the only way we can help this brother out. Vodacom users to support this brother so that he gets his compensation. Let's boycott Vodacom. Period. It's the only way. What do you think? But that's my take, bruh. That's my take. Buddy, they lost. They went to the High Court in 2008. They lost. Went to Supreme Court, right, to appeal, right, the High Court decision. They lost. They go to the Constitutional Court. They lost. They go back to the High Court. They lost. They go back to Supreme Court. They lost. And then they appeal the appeal again. Come on, guys.
And what's sad is that the idea that they know they should be giving this man what he deserves. They know. But because they don't want to, they choose this direction, or would let's drag it out as long as possible.
The guy is asking, many people saying, 9.5. He's asking for 5% of the revenue generated from his idea. 5% of the revenue. That's what he's asking for.
Bro.
5% of the revenue. Not even 50%. Because another person should be asking for 50%. He's asking for 5% of the revenue. But the problem is, the money is not there. The money is spent. The money was given to the CEOs and whatnot, the board. That's the problem. Probably the money is, obviously, the money is not there. Giving him 9 point something billion out of Vodacom, I mean, this is kin to basically handing the guy half of the company, I would say. What's your take, buddy?
It's like a Michael Jackson situation in Sony.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to find another way
Yeah.
to win this thing. If you don't, it means you lose big time.
Yeah. That's basically, you are correct in saying that. That's technically the deal here.
But now the question is, buddy, because I mean, you do research on this, because I mean, you should know more. How long can they keep doing this thing of cycling, going back to appeal? Like, what are other lawyers saying? Can it be the situation that you said in the beginning, where the Supreme Court or whatever court makes a decision, guys, you need to give this man this much money, and it stands to that decision rather than having to be appealed?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not sure, actually, as I should have searched it, because I'm not sure how much can you appeal things. I'm confused by that. Because also, this is not a criminal case, like, so it's different. It's not like someone has committed crime per se, like someone is in jail, because I can imagine when you are in prison, you cannot appeal and appeal and appeal as much as you like. It takes time to be able to appeal, So how I'm seeing this, as long as they are not paying him, they are happy. They can drag this to whatever time they want because they can afford that rather than to pay him. As I said, if I'm sitting in a Vodacom board and I'm asking myself, how much does it cost me per year to pay lawyers? And someone says 2 million to pay these lawyers. And then I'm like, okay, 2 times 100, that's 200 million. I'd rather pay lawyers for the next 100 years, 200 million, rather than to pay this guy 9.5 billion.
And then also I read he's supposed to pay his lawyers 20% of whatever he gets at the end.
Of course, because he cannot afford. Because he cannot afford to pay lawyers, but it's been over 2 decades. How could he have funded? He can't. These lawyers are there now on the basis that at some point they're gonna make money from the case too. So it's their case as much as it's his case. Because they are representing him on those bases.
It's going to be a long ride.
Yeah, man.
It is.
But Vodacom, I think the only way, I am calling all South Africans, guys, let's support the brother. Let's boycott Vodacom. This is the only way to help this brother out. I saw some people were writing letters to Vodacom. They went to different institutions. That's good initiative too. Let's support the brother out, bro. Let's boycott Vodacom. That's the only way, bro. Let's boycott them. Because this is disrespectful to offer him 57 million. It's very disrespectful. 47 million and moving to 80 million. Disrespectful. After they made so much from his idea. That's very disrespectful. That's very disrespectful. That's where I am in regards to this Vodacom case. It actually frustrates me, actually, that we have this type of situation going on. Let's go to healthcare system in South Africa. Let's talk about this. I'm going to give background. I'm sure, but you've seen Tutula, and South Africans are not happy with foreigners accessing free healthcare, which I totally understand. I totally understand, and I'm with South Africans in this case, right? But I want to talk to the law around it. I'm going to go back to the background as to where is this coming from? How come those foreigners are accessing the healthcare system for free at the back of South African taxpayers' money? How are foreign people? Yeah, which doesn't make sense. Okay, Section 27(1) guarantees, this is the Constitution of South Africa. Section 27(1) guarantees access to healthcare. It states that everyone has the right to have access to healthcare services, including reproductive healthcare. These rights applies to everyone, regardless of nationality or immigration status. Do you see the problem there? So the Constitution affirms the values of human dignity, equality, and the advancement of human rights and freedoms, right? Making it unlawful to deny individuals health care based on their origin. Interesting. Our Constitution is saying that. Unless they're thinking, who's paying? Like, that's probably like, unless this thing, like, I don't know, it's an African thing or what? This socialism naivety that we have this like socialism, communism naivety. It's like, okay, fine, this is a good idea. We would like everybody to have free healthcare, but who's paying? Because somebody has to pay. Like, it's stupid to read things like this. It's like, that's so dumb. Like, when we are saying that, who is paying? Oh, South African taxpayers. We're paying for everybody to have free access to healthcare. Let's move on. In essence, Section 27(1) ensures that all individuals, including foreigners, have access to healthcare services, and any attempt to block or deny them access will be a violation of the Constitution. So the South African Human Rights Commission and the government have emphasized the importance of upholding these rights, while also addressing challenges faced by the public health system. Do you see? The problem is nobody is addressing those challenges, my guy. That's a problem. Nobody's it's this thing of socialism, and we love Africans, guys. We love each other, fine, but not in our expense. That's the problem. Not in the expense of South Africans. Because it's like South Africans are called xenophobic here. And people are like, bro, I go to the clinic, half of the people in the clinic, 50% of the people in the clinic are foreigners. Mostly undocumented foreigners. And the Constitution in South Africa says they have right to access that. But they don't even pay tax in South Africa. They don't pay tax in SA. Like, and in whose expense? I don't get it. I saw the police arresting South Africans for blocking the thing. And then they saying, because that is illegal. Okay, so illegality starts with South Africans blocking the foreigners to access healthcare, or illegality starts with the foreigners being in South Africa illegally. It's even worse because we're talking about people who are there illegally. So why isn't it that if you find them there, since they are there illegally, you don't detain them because they are there illegally? Why don't we start with that there? Why does it start with now they are accessing the healthcare? Now we are saying it is illegal for South Africans to block them, but it is okay for them to do illegal things by coming to the country illegally and be there. I have a problem with this, bro. Like, I have a problem with this. Let's continue. In Africa, South Africa stands out as the only African country. That's another fact, bro. As the only African country providing free primary healthcare service to everyone, regardless of nationality or documentation status. This includes free services for primary healthcare services of government facilities, right? Antenatal care, abortions, HIV and TB treatment, healthcare for pregnant and breastfeeding women and children under 6 years. Our Home Affairs Minister, went to, he was in Kenya. And he was talking about the charges he had to pay in Kenya for healthcare since they don't take SA medical aid. All the time they had to ask him, yo, sir, we need to take your blood to do blood test. Can you swap, please? That's how it works. We are the only African country offering this free healthcare to everybody. Who's paying? Talk to me,
That's
JC.
a very good question.
Talk to me. It's South African taxpayers who's paying.
My question is that, okay, let's say we are doing this. How are we benefiting from it? Because, I mean, you can't be doing such things and you're not benefiting. How is South Africa benefiting from being the only country or the only country in Africa to give out these benefits?
Nothing.
Because that's
Nothing. This is the thing.
Wow.
Us as South Africans, when we go to their country, but you remember when I was in Ethiopia, right? I told you, remember when I was in Ethiopia? We have to sign a form there for a healthcare something when I was in Ethiopia. I had to sign the form to be in Ethiopia, not even long, like a day there. There's healthcare something for insurance around the healthcare, you being there in the country. You have to. There is no other African country that will allow us to be there for free and use their healthcare for free. But South Africans have to pay for African healthcare. Like, bro, like, I don't get this, bro. I don't get it.
I mean, even here, you can't have a visa if you haven't registered for medical aid. You have to have healthcare as a supporter while you are here.
There is no country, JC, there is no country that will do this, bro. Like, whereby you're gonna get healthcare. We don't have it's unheard of. Worse, you are illegal. It's unheard of, dog. It is unheard of to be illegal and be accessing healthcare in another country. It's unheard of. We are here overseas in other countries. We are paying, bro. We are paying, bro, for healthcare, bro. And you know me, I hardly get sick. I don't even use this thing, but I pay for healthcare. That's how the world works. That's how the world works, bro. This thing that you think because you feel like we love each other, we what, but not in our expense, guys. We cannot continue like that. It can't be a norm that we are just going to be paying their bills. It doesn't work. As you are saying, good idea, as you are saying, JC. If we are doing that, there should be a straight way in which we are benefiting as South Africa. Because if the argument is, we don't have healthcare infrastructures, can you take care of our people when they are there? Oh, that's fine. Then you pay. I would agree with that. If they are paying, because then we can be able to do more and build more so that they can be taken care of too. You can't just expect the South Africans take the burden, take the cost. We can't, because we find now you have situations a South African want to go to access healthcare. They don't have a bed in public hospitals. They cannot get a bed. It's full, and then it's full. 40% foreigners, 50% foreigners who are not paying for the healthcare. That can't happen, because the way also is projected in the media is like South Africans are xenophobic, bro. There's a bit to this thing to just call South Africans xenophobic is just, it's a norm. It's like, what is xenophobic about someone saying I cannot pay for you? Like, I don't get it. Like, what is xenophobic about that? Like, literally, South Africans are forced to this situation now, and they are called xenophobic.
That's
I do not.
very tricky.
I do not understand. I don't get that. So the Prime Minister of KZN, Utamintul, right, said he was talking to Sipho Hlomuka, who is the member of the Executive Council, MEC, of Education in KwaZulu-Natal, who told him that there is a government school with 40% foreign students studying for free. Like,
No way.
Oh, yeah. We are complaining in South Africa, we don't have enough schools. Our schools are packed. We have 60 kids in a classroom, 80. There's no education that will happen in a classroom with 70 kids and 80 kids in public schools, because that's what is happening. 70 kids in one classroom, 60 kids in one classroom, and then we have schools with 40% of foreigners who are not paying, and we are xenophobic when we are raising that issue. Guys, we can't leave.
There's a lot going on today that doesn't work in our favor as citizens. It's but at the end of the day, so how do we get to a point where this can be solved then without being tagged as xenophobic?
We need to. We need to. The parliament need to amend that part of the constitution. They need to amend that. They need to. We need to change policies around that. We cannot have a situation. The problem is that I don't see anyone wanting to amend that, because I know where Malema stands around these issues. He's as naive as it comes when it comes to illegal immigrants in South Africa or foreigners in South Africa. He's as naive as it comes. Because it's
foreigners doing this thing on the basis that they know Uti, this is in the constitution, that no one can do anything about it, or they're just doing it because they have the arrogance to do it. So
they are.
Which one?
The thing is, because it is in the constitution, nobody ever stopped them. So we found ourselves that we have, for years and years, foreigners have been accessing free healthcare in South Africa, to the point that apparently some of them are even selling the medication. Do you see? So they've been accessing free healthcare in South Africa for, by the way, I'm sure you're gonna know, even our friend is getting that medication for free. As a foreigner, So for years, that has been the case, that they access that medication that is free in South Africa. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, and as a result, then it has been a norm until now, because it's gotten to that point whereby South Africans now are standing up against it, to say we are not going to face a situation whereby now we have to 50% of the people. Buddy, when South Africans were boycotting and stopping people from accessing, places are empty, dog. You can literally walk into a hospital or a clinic, get whatever medication you need and get out without having to wait on the lines. The lines are gone. Yeah, because the medication, it's gotten to the point whereby people would actually come from Lesotho and Swaziland and Zimbabwe, come to South Africa for medical care, which we do not have a problem with, but we should have a compensation from their country. Something has to give. There can't be a situation whereby they're just getting things for free. It doesn't work like that, bro. It doesn't. And I hate it, because now it's like, yeah, you're xenophobic. How, dog? How is that xenophobic, dog?
It's very strange what you're bringing up, because I saw a girl who, the funny situation, but I saw a girl who's talking about when we speak about foreigners, we also mean you people from
Eswatini. I saw that from Eswatini. I saw that video, and she sounds Swazi actually while saying that. Ima, listen here, buddy. Let's if you'll be able to hear, but try to listen here. This is what Lesotho said basically in response to this.
The welfare of Basotho.
Sorry.
Visiting or
residing in South Africa has raised concerns to the government of Lesotho. In its latest cabinet sitting, Lesotho says it is worried about reports of Basotho being denied access to medical assistance and what seems to be random targeting and arrests of Lesotho citizens in the Republic.
Our appeal is that if you give a Lesotho citizen a visa to be in South Africa for a period of time, this Lesotho citizen would be in South Africa lawfully. That means that the citizen should access the health services because they're already in South Africa. Otherwise,
they have to pay. What the fuck, bro? They have to pay. Damn, yeah. We have private hospitals. They must pay. Jesus.
What are we doing? Are we relegating them to death or what? So I think it's very important that if there are changes to, or rather, if there are conditions that we have to adhere to as the citizens who get the permits to be in South Africa, those conditions have to be clarified.
Moresi says while she believes that this might not be an official policy of government, the messages implied is rather unsettling.
It's probably just xenophobic actions by...
Hey, my goodness. People are so entitled in love. What are you saying, bro?
No, man, I'm just like, she's saying the thing we're talking about, but when she's talking about it being free, that's where the problem is. They got the visa to do that, but they shouldn't be actually accessing medical health for free.
That's it. Like, she's talking about visas. If you're given a right, I have a visa to be here, right? We're in a foreign country, and I pay for their healthcare system. I pay every month. That's how it works. If it needs to, this means we need to amend that constitution thing, we need to. Guys, life doesn't work like that. You can love Africans and be what. It doesn't work. You cannot afford to do that. South Africa is going down already. We are not in a space that we have handouts. She's saying we are xenophobic for saying that. Like, bro, I don't get it, bro. Okay, now flip the situation. Can South Africans get free healthcare in their country? No. We can't access free healthcare in their country. But they're telling us we are xenophobic for not allowing their people to access free health. There's no free healthcare in their countries for us. I was in Ethiopia. Oh, bro. I had to sign out for medical insurance in Ethiopia. Oh, that's why these people strela rap dog, strela nje kabla. Strela nje lokho. Strela kabla. How? That's abasitagela laba mfethu. Basitagela nje laba. I'm not gonna entertain this. Abahlanyela, fuck it, bro. If I'm xenophobic, then that's it. Ngeke. I'm not gonna allow this one. And in whose expense? In whose expense? That's it.
All right, dog. I've kept your time. You are over like 15. You said 15 minutes, right?
Nah, that's fine. That's fine. Let's move on, dog. We have to move anyway. That's good. Let's move on. One that's in trouble right now. That they are in trouble with the country as it stands, especially or specifically the colored community. I'm going to play the news thingy here, buddy, and you tell me what you think. So let's just listen. I'm going to play the news thingy so that we can hear what was said actually, right, in regards to this situation. What did they say exactly that has the country up in arms actually and people not happy?
Growing outrage now over the Open Chats podcast making offensive remarks about the coloured community in South Africa. In a clip of the conversation which has gone viral, the podcast hosts make several racist comments. They suggest that coloured families engage in incense and label the community crazy. The remarks have drawn condemnation across the board, with civil society, political leaders and ordinary South Africans demanding accountability. Both the Democratic Alliance and the Patriotic Alliance have taken steps to lodge complaints. PA leader Gayton McKenzie says his legal team is preparing legal action.
The colors apparently chow each other, Chief. Siblings. Yeah. You don't know.
No, but I believe that because colors are crazy. Colors are crazy.
Crazy in that way. They chow each other.
I can say that. I've dated a colored, so I can say that.
I've dated a colored, but just know. They're crazy
crazy
mentally, but not to
if
that
you're
point,
mentally
bro.
crazy, then of course you'd sleep with your cousin.
The colors apparently chow each other, Chief.
Hell, so the guy clearly says the colors chow each other. That's what the guy said. And then the lady says, yeah, colors are crazy, you know. So, and that was it. And this situation had the country up in arms. Now, for me, this is me. Actually, crazy enough, as they are saying, no pun intended, I've had this before. This is not the first time when I've had this. I've had this before. You saying you also had this before? Yeah, I've had this before. The idea that they're chowing each other and whatnot, I've had that before. The second part, the idea, I think that also the framework to say they are crazy, I also know what they are referring to. You know, they are referring to the stereotype of violence.
It's almost like when there's a context, you understand what they're saying.
Yeah. You know, it's a stereotype about how violent colored guys are, right? Especially, like, we know that it's a big stereotype that you don't fuck with the coloreds because they're violent, they're dangerous, they'll stab you and stuff. It's a stereotype. It's just a stereotype that is there, right? Now, I think the biggest problem with What's buddy?
No, I'm just saying, I'm agreeing with you. It's been a stereotype that's been made for years.
Yeah, it's a stereotype that's been there for years. Yeah. The problem with stereotypes is when stereotypes are applied, like how it sounds in this video, to be made fact about a community. You know? Because to say colors are crazy or colors are chowing each other, that's making the stereotype to come alive and being applicable to everybody in the community. This is as good as saying blacks are criminals. Right? We know what people mean when they say blacks are criminals. We know what they mean, right? But to then say blacks are criminals as an umbrella term, this is where you are taking a stereotype out of context and then you are applying it to the larger community. I think the problem is there. Is that a problem for me? Because the idea that colors chow each other, as you've had that before. I'm sorry, I've had that before too. Actually, I've had that a couple of times. I forgot the name of this guy actually at UKZN. I've had that before a couple of times actually. This is not news to me, you know. This is not news to me. It's just that the only problem that I had with Gayton McKenzie, they're opening a case and whatnot. There's this sentiment, especially from Gayton McKenzie. There's this sentiment to try but again, I think it's only fitting to the South African context. So this sentiment fits more in the South African context to remove colored people from blacks and establish them as a different entity and then make them, you know, because to me, when I think about this statement to say colors are crazy or whatnot, this is good as saying Zulus are crazy. I mean, you know how the stereotype about Zulu drivers. Zulus are crazy, they are violent, they like, you know, and Zulus don't want to speak other languages. They want all of us to speak Zulu, but they don't want to try to learn. That's what they say about us. Do you see? Everybody says Zulus are crazy, Zulus are violent. That's what they say about us generally, right? But then I wouldn't see that from a racist point of view if a colored person says it. I just feel like there is this, especially in the political elements of Gayton McKenzie, to try and remove the colored community from blacks and to make them these different entities. To me, at least to me, when I think of colored people, because of how close they are to me, they're just as good as Xhosa people, Swati people, like Soto people, other people within the context of black. Do you get what I mean? It's like they are not Zulu, they are not Swati, they are not Xhosa, they are colored people and they have a culture of themselves as colored people, just like how I'm Zulu. But then there seem to be this attempt to try and remove them from black and make them a different entity so that we can claim racism. How could I be racist to a Gayton McKenzie? How could I be racist to a Gayton McKenzie who looks exactly like me? The difference is that I'm Zulu, he's colored. How could I be racist to him? To a Benny McCarthy who looks exactly like me? I don't get that. I don't get the racism thing, actually. Why they are pushing it toward the racism and removing the colored people from black. I don't get it. But it seems to be the politics for that. Because to me, this statement is not different from someone referring to Xhosa people and saying when they go to Ntabeni, maybe they do things to each other. To me, that's not different from someone saying that. So I don't understand how would this put in race to say then I'm being racist towards Xhosa people if I was to say a statement like that.
I mean, politically, I don't feel like it should have been involved to that extent to where it is now, where now it involves politics and
they opened a case. They opened a case. They went and opened a case.
It's very tricky because one of the things that I'm hearing that we're talking about is which it brings the question to me, Guti. Are we saying now there should be a cap in the conversations that public platforms like my podcast should have about the things that are that exist generally? Because I mean the problem that you are raising is that Guti, they are bringing in a stereotype and they're making it real. So is there a cap a podcast should have where the things that they shouldn't be saying?
Actually, Susan Poff was saying something like that around the monitoring of our podcast. Are we saying now we need to monitor what people say in podcasting? Are we saying, because it seems like that's where now they're trying to take this to, that's where they're trying, because this is a stereotype. JC, you just said when you've had this before. I've had it too. So this is a stereotype. We know it's a stereotype, you know? And it's just being said like, it's just like how it's, as I said before, again, how it's a stereotype to say, like, Zulu people are like this. They don't want to speak other languages. That's a stereotype to say that. Because Zulu people that I know, they speak other languages actually, especially if they live in Joburg. My family who lives in Joburg, they speak other languages. They understand Tswana, they understand do you see? Because they in that context. So it's a stereotype to say that. So then does it mean those people are being racist to us for saying we want the whole country to speak Zulu, but we don't try? This is problematic for me, actually. I feel like it's just taken out of proportion and being exaggerated, to be honest, for it to be on the news and whatnot. You know, because also my other question was, what if these guys say this colored, this guy? Because if I was me, I was gonna say these are the colored who say that to me. Oh, so and so who's the colored has done that with his sister. I'm talking about them. Then what? And then what?
Then it makes it easy.
Yeah, because and then what? Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. Because it's not like these guys are saying something that you've never had before. I have had this before. What they are saying is not new to me. I've heard it before. You know, but I understand it to be a stereotype. You know, just like any other stereotype. Anyway, but that was that when it comes to that. Let's move on, buddy. That was that when it comes to that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, Yazi, I feel like sometimes you add a topic and you don't really think about the topic as to like how far. What?
No, continue.
Yeah, like I was. Yeah, this topic that I have here actually. I don't know. Maybe let me not talk about this right now. I'll talk about it in a different segment. I want to touch this one, which I find to be very big and important in this case. Corruption. That's our last point that we're going to talk about today. Corruption in SA. High shame. You know, guys, all the time I've had black people being defensive when it comes to this. When black people are being challenged about them being corrupt, they have this thing of trying to say, yeah, but white people are corrupt too. Hey. We're going to get to white people. We talk about you. You are corrupt. You are corrupt. Black people are corrupt, buddy. Hey, we are corrupt, shame. We are corrupt. We are, man. You know? And it's killing the country a lot. And it's destroying the country. How corrupt we are. I think this is something we need to take accountability for, that we are corrupt, right? Yes, they're corrupt in the private sector too, they're business people too, millions, probably even more, true. We are not in that space to be going back and forth and arguing who's more corrupt. We are not there. This is not it. This is about us having accountability for ourselves. This is about that. This is about that for me. Like us, as black people having accountability. Nice, buddy.
And there's so many questions around Uguti. Why are we corrupt? Because I mean, as the moment you asked me to watch that video and then I finished it, I went to just try and find out, psychologically, where does corruption come from? Where does it come from? The idea that okay, when you feel like you should be in this position forever, and for you to keep it forever, you should pay people who are going to keep you in power forever. And then you just, there's never enough. No amount of money is enough for you to have. You want to just be there forever.
Greed, bro. Greed. There's just that level of greed, bro. To that extent, that's, I want to have it all for myself and not do shit for the community. Greed. That's what happens. Greed, man. Just I want to have everything all for myself. Yeah. I want everything for myself and not consider the community and who suffers with me if I steal this money. So the video that I said you must watch is Tebogo Malaka. Yeah, Tebogo Malaka. So Tebogo Malaka who got suspended, but let's go to her before her suspension, basically. So Malaka was under scrutiny for her alleged misconduct at the Independent Development Trust, right? Particularly regarding a 836 million oxygen plants contract scandal. A forensic investigation by the Pricewaterhouse Coopers uncovered widespread irregularities in the procurement process leading to her suspension, right? So the journalist investigation that you saw there, the journalist from the Daily Maverick was investigating Malaka's alleged misconduct, right, in the 836 million scandal, the oxygen plant contract scandal. But also, he was investigating private property dealings. So the journalist was looking into Malaka's luxury property deals and potential conflicts of interest in these property deals. So, irregular contracts. The investigation also focused on the irregular contracts awarded during Malaka's tenure, including the 836 million oxygen plants, right? And then, when they see that this journalist from Daily Maverick is catching up on them and seems to get all this information in his investigation, they came up with the bribery thing that I showed you. I showed you the bribery thing. Smooth, please use those photos that I gave you, man, on this. The bribery attempt. So the bribery attempts occurred when Malaka and the IDT spokesperson Pasha Maholane met with the journalist at a wine farm restaurant near Stellenbosch. So they offered 60,000 in cash to suppress the investigation, with Maholane placing a Dior shopping bag containing stacks of 200 notes on the table. So the journalist refused the bribe, as you saw, and the meeting was secretly recorded, as we were able to see the recording too. So this incident led to criminal charges being laid against Malaka and Maholane, including corruption, bribery, and breaches of fiduciary duties. I don't know if fiduciary duties means what, but anyway, so that is the case. Your take, buddy.
Yeah, no, man, it's tricky because these people are trying to make sure whatever they're doing stays a secret, to not have everybody know what exactly is going on. And I'm not sure, Uguti, how much they have gained to even try to make sure that it doesn't get more publicized. In a sense, they're bribing this person because they know there's a lot more and they want to continue doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah, of course. There's more for them to gain and they want to continue making more. That's how it works. It's just greed. Pure greed, nothing else. They know there is more and they don't want to be stopped. They want the corruption to continue.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, which is why I went to research the idea of psychologically the effect. Because if as a person, because I remember a case of a woman who embezzled over 200. Was it 200 million or billion? But it got, I think it's some lady. But it got like billions. It got to some billions, and she was still there in the job, not quitting, nothing. And she was still continuing doing it. So if these people are in the position of Futi, you will have all these monies that you have embezzled or you have corrupted and you have been stealing. You feel the conscience to stop and be like, let me retire, let me leave, let me stop here.
I think what confuses me the most is like, Kanti, how much are we trying to make, guys? Like, I don't get it. Like, isn't it, like, let's say I'm corrupt. My man, like, bro, 1 million is too far already. 5 million, I'm gone. I'm quitting. I'm circle. I'm home. Someone wants to be doing this for years and years. Yeah, it's just not enough. It will never be enough. Years and years, still and still.
With the car, what was she doing? Was she killing people?
Yeah. With the cop. Yeah. For years, she killed her her fiance, killed the cousin or something. Ended up going out trying to open policies on street kids and shit like that to kill them.
Yeah, I mean, okay, our corruption has a deep underlying thing as darkies that needs to be investigated, because as you said earlier, it ends up ruining everything around us. It ends up affecting other people who are outside, because it goes back to the picture of the bridge. Like that bridge, which is supposedly 10 million. Is it 10 million or 5 million?
Yeah.
And that bridge looks like it cost probably 20,000.
Yeah. Literally.
Or probably less. So how you say, Uguti, you took all that money which could have saved the community, when are you saying you made a bridge that cost probably 1-2% of the money that you actually were given?
Imagine that. That's our corruption. We are so corrupt. We are corruption. We are so bad, bro. Like when it comes to governance, when it comes to fucking decency, like ethics. We are so bad. We are bad. There's the only way. We need to understand we are bad for us to be able to deal with this. It's greed beyond reason. Like it's just greed. Pure greed and just wanting everything for yourself. That's what it is. There's just nothing here. Of course, maybe it's just this. I hate to argue things based on past traumas and whatnot. Nah, bruh. Nah. It's greed, guys. It's greed. You know? And the idea that you think other people are like you even go outside to try and bribe. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. She should be embarrassed. Can you imagine? You even know you are wrong. You go to try and shut someone down for don't find more. Stop finding more. It's embarrassing.
Normalized. It has become normalized in their lives to act that way.
Yeah, to act that way. Anyway, let's wrap it up here, buddy. Thank you, man, for joining me, dog. I'm gonna leave other topics for another day. I've reached an hour, and you know, as I said, my main man, Smoother, will kill us if we pass this hour. Any last words, buddy?
No, man. I think the other thing we'll probably talk about, over after you've cut.
Yeah.
I think I remember having read something that was interesting and funny.
Yeah, I have something to talk about also regarding international news here. I didn't get to international news today. But anywho, I'm going to leave it for the next episode. Shout outs! Let's go to work! Elephants in the room. Out.